given the numbers of vowed members, the idea that Anthony Mullen is trying to work in this province with different development and mission ideas, and given the Passionist family aspect and my experience with pops and that sort of thing, I suggested with the handover of the archives that we're at a new moment. This is a very important new historical moment. Really, the objective now for all vowed members, this archive really highlights it in my mind. This is sort of now a clarity of vision, or at least appreciation, is everybody who's vowed has to be thanked. That the vowed members have to now be in a public position to be thanked and affirmed with what they've been able to do, the different dynamics of foundations, the personal legacy, the theological legacy, to international congregation legacy. But this is an important aspect of thankfulness for whoever are the vowed members at this moment. In thanking them, they're encouraged, and I'm just speaking of what I'm thinking of even for myself, is you have to be able to let go to see how the new voice of this charism, with even vowed members into the future, new ministries into the future, but you have to let your egos go and see how those who are committed in some way or form through stewardship, through spirituality, manifest this and actually lead this into the future. And that's your mission into the future. So all the components build on this legacy of videos or content of the past. What has to be aspect is this is not just a romantic aspect into the future, but now with the archives, it can be a new envisioned future. And we don't know what that is, but without the thanks, then people sort of are caught in an in-between world. And it's just not the vowed members, it's people who have been associated with a certain type of story or knowledge base of how this ministry has taken shape, and they don't want that romantic image to go, and because they're not thanked yet, or they don't have the vision to move forward with a new one. Stating that because it has, and I'm wondering if that's a component that might be emergent, not necessarily for a program, but however this POPs committee decides to accept different challenges or opportunities, that I think that's how my mind has shifted right now, that I have to be in a position to be thankful, let something go, but in order to see something new. But it's how to see something new that's really the risk, and not to let your ego get in the way of trapping it or holding it back. But the knowledge base has to make it hold accountable. It can't be just anything. And that's where you need the wisdom of institutional memory, sound spirituality, and other dynamics to move into the future. So that was something that came out of this moment with transition of looking into an archives, where we're actually giving our memory to another institution. We still own it, but where does it go? So I offer that as a component of looking at different ways we at least keep this as a foundational aspect to move into the future.
What do you think that could look like, Rob? Like leadership doing that? What forms?
Well, I think you took an initial aspect at your assembly. I think that the proclamation at the assembly in Detroit, I think that was a solid introductory step. I think it could be as simple as there's many ways, I guess, but a simple letter that is made by the provincial and the council or the leadership team to each individual vowed member of your province. And I would say possibly even think of, let's say with the vowed members, they get aspect, and some thought is put into saying, we value your ministry in these areas. And each one is crafted individually for that person. Even if that
Mhm.
person doesn't get it through email, but it should be a paper letter. If the person's in some kind of infirm situation, it is read to that person.
Mhm.
And then, but they get that as a specific letter of thanks. We want to acknowledge this at this time.
Mhm.
And then I think your province might have been founded in 1906. So it could be in anticipation of 1906 and correspondence with 2026. We want you to acknowledge how great our province is, and then possibly tie in other people in other ministries that have closed. And you could, it's really theological reflection on an individual basis of ministry and affirmation. You could do that then, because I think this is a key aspect that could aspect. Uh, think of it as a human resource letter for each group of people who might be board directors or longtime staff employees, where they get something that we are going to put this in your file. Now, how great your human resources things are like ours, we don't have any. So I think, but I think that those types of things are a surprise. No one expects letters of affirmation from leadership that you've done a good job. You're only told something when things are askew. And to be told that as we anticipate going into our 1906, 2026 remembrance of our province, we we thank you because you've been with us in these respective years in this retreat house, or even people associated with historic parishes like 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 someone like Loretta or someone like that, where these places where they're able to actually get something specifically geared towards them. This isn't uh, a, a public letter of the provincial. This is a statement of individualization. But what happens is by everyone getting it, they realize they're the breath and life of a province that's been successful in an American experience and internationally. This is not a project. This is thanks. It's not
Mhm.
project driven. It's not Pops trying to get you to open up and open up an archive. It's because the provincial and the council or the leadership still has gravity here. And and it's 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 sheer thanks. It's nothing to do with a project we want to act on. That's a bonus. But I don't see that it's not a straight line to a project. As a member of the council team or leadership team there, I think this is something where the leadership team with David or wherever, or Jim O'Shea with the leadership team, they have to really decide, we are going to do it to our best of our ability.
Right.
And you get a collaborative group of people. So you ask Don Weber, Joe Moons, or other people who put together, and this is the best. And somehow you know that in the presentation. It's not a life biographical summary. You're not writing a biography. You have this is where the benefit of the numbers helps you.
Right.
And I think it's also a component if there's, however you do visitations, the visitation. And I really think this is theological reflection done in a passionist identity manner. I think this is where leadership realizes that it's not just holding the aspect of province governance together. They are now actually thanking the living legacy of their men and vowed members, because they will not have this chance ever again. The moment is now. On how people perceive the role of a provincial, personality clashes, all these things. This is uh, it, this is this is exactly what a provincial is supposed to do, or a leadership team is supposed to do. And a simple thing is that if a year and a half your archives move, that that's another loss. And yet Bill
Mhm.
Murphy, when I went to Jamaica a week and a half ago, Bill approached it, and everybody, to my surprise, was very thankful that I had found a home for the archives. And these are pretty, you know, well, you've been there, Ryan. You know, these are pretty strong-willed characters, um, and uh, and and so to them to be affirming was quite a good thing for me to hear, because there's been times when people have been very, they haven't ever pushed back against me, but they've asked a lot of questions like, why do you do what you do? And that sort of thing, never negative, but they don't understand it. So to be thankful that this has a home, this is a critical bridge that we're crossing here. And what this has to now deal with is, uh, a way to develop a public discourse where the public wants to actually learn more about your history, because your history actually has had an impact on civic society and social engagement. Your spirituality means something as a passionist because it's been there through all the moments of suffering, death, and resurrection. And even the narrative of former institutional narratives of monasteries like Cincinnati or St. Paul, Kansas, and in different aspects, they live on beyond a closed entity into a memory entity that now enters the civic realm of public understanding and the role of religion in society that still is in debate and still has opportunity. So it's the creative edge that now will be the exhausting dynamic. It's not telling the story, it's creating not just the story, but the mission in a new idea. And that's why at times story and mission and 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 animation of your values of a congregation uh have to be very well, there has to be a plan of risk, because in the plan of risk, something might fail, but other things might succeed. Nevada, Virginia City, Nevada failed. We were only there for 2 months, or maybe half a year or a year at best. And from that emerged Mexico. So the failure opened up the door to Mexico, because they had to cross through Mexico to get to Salt Lake City and on to Virginia, West Nevada. So Virginia City. And and so a failure opened up the door. And I think we're 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 so much into good stewardship that the risk not to succeed is also equal to the risk of failure. This is a shift of my own perception based on the archives. This,
Mhm.
and I think that's important for them to hear. This isn't just another project.